The property is used as collateral, and they lend against property. And what happens? Prices are artificially pumped up and jacked up, and so people can't afford housing. So the way to fix the housing problem in the UK is to take away this fractional reserve banking against property, so that prices would come down to the level that is traditionally affordable by the average person in Britain.
Exactly. If they were lending and actually creating an economy, helping everybody, that's what they originally were meant to do, is lend to perhaps risky companies, new startups or companies or businesses to grow the economy. That would be one thing. But the fact is they're just lending it all to a completely speculative venture, which is property, and yet it's causing the economy to worsen because they're also locking people out from being able to move to new cities for new jobs because property is so expensive. But they're not lending to companies. They're not lending to small businesses. Right. In fact, RBS has done the opposite. They smashed and grabbed assets using their ability to create money, issue these loans.
That's why the UK economy is so vulnerable. It's a bit of a monoculture. There's only property speculation. I know from starting companies in the UK, my employees were only interested in speculating in the property market. The idea of having a startup where the stock price goes up and you create a technology company was completely alien to them.
Well, you mentioned Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was a big topic. Here at MoneyConf, of course, we've been speaking here for quite a few years, and now they're introducing CryptoConf. All of these events that have talk about money and banking, they're all having to introduce, they're being forced by Bitcoin to recognize them and start talking about it and what is this. So MoneyConf has a CryptoConf here, and this is here. But this was an interesting story as well in the headlines while we've been here, and this is from the CEO of Lazard. And if you don't know who Lazard are, they're probably the most powerful bank in the world behind the scenes. They are not like, you're not going to go, it's not a high street bank, you're not going to go deposit your funds there, but they are very, very powerful in terms of how they can control the total banking system, the Bank of International Settlements and governments. So here is the CEO of Lazard Bank, and he says, you can imagine crypto replacing the US dollar. Quote, US isolationism could undermine the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency, Lazard Chief Executive Officer Ken Jacobs said. To the extent that we have unilateral foreign policy and unilateral trade policy.
So this is a really interesting concept, and I'm going to make another video to go into detail, but I do want to talk about Bitcoin and how basically it's a great alternative because of the issue we have with banking. Unfortunately, with banking, because it's driven by profits, there is a motive to allow speculation to occur, especially when people are using leverage to buy assets like real estate. And in a previous video, I also mentioned schooling. And that's the biggest problem I have with our modern banking, and the fact that everything is becoming purchased on a loan, and even automobiles. And with this, it creates an incentive to inflate prices because they can charge more interest, and it just makes everything unaffordable, and thus everyone has to use loans. But let me know your thoughts about this and what you guys think, and I will talk to you guys soon.